Since the 1920s, Time magazine has selected the man, woman, group, or concept that has had the most influence on the world during the previous 12 months. This year, the race for Person of the Year is closer than ever, including the still anonymous whistleblower whose complaint about President Trump's interactions with the leader of Ukraine led to the ongoing impeachment inquiry.
Our democracy is what is at stake. The president leaves us no choice but to act.
Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, who launched that impeachment inquiry and leads the Democratic Party heading into 2020.
We must reject the politics of revenge, resistance, and retribution, and embrace the boundless potential of cooperation, compromise, and the common good.
President Donald Trump, Time's Person of the Year in 2016.
Thank you, Pennsylvania. Thank you.
3 years later, he maintains support from his base and remains defiant in the face of his critics.
Impeachment for that? It was just a perfect conversation.
Protesters in Hong Kong captured the attention of the globe with continuous calls for greater democracy in the Chinese-ruled city. And finally, Swedish teenage climate activist Greta Thunberg.
I'm 60 years old. I come from Sweden, and I want you to panic.
Her brutal honesty while confronting world leaders about climate change.
How dare you?
Sparked worldwide protests. 5 noteworthy candidates waiting to see if they receive this timeless recognition. All right, so we're going to get to it. Here to reveal Time's 2019 Person of the Year is Editor-in-Chief Edward Felsenthal. Edward, we should point out that none of the 5 know who the actual recipient will be. So you're about to announce it this second. All right, so tell us who it is.
It's Greta Thunberg. She became the biggest voice on the biggest issue facing the planet this year, coming from essentially nowhere to lead a worldwide movement. And she also represents a broader generational shift in the culture that we're seeing from the campuses of Hong Kong to the protests in Chile to Parkland, Florida, where the students marched against gun violence, where young people are demanding change and urgently.
She embodies student activism.
She does. She embodies youth activism, youngest person ever to be Person of the Year.
Oh, pretty cool.
As you know, Greta said a couple months ago that she was not going to accept this particular award at an environmental conference, saying the climate movement does not need any more awards. What do you think her response is going to be?
When you call her up, good news.
I don't know, but I think what she has done is, I mean, her rise in influence has been really extraordinary. She was a solo protester with a hand-painted sign 14 months ago. She's now led millions of people around the world, 150 countries, to act on behalf of the planet, and she's taken this issue, been really the key driver this year, taking this issue from backstage to center.
Well, she's a unique individual. Folks who don't know her well should probably watch her TED Talk. She talks about the fact that she has Asperger's, that she's different, but she stands out in front. And I'm sure there are a lot of parents whose children are, have something like that, are probably looking at this young girl and saying, like, way to go. There are other categories that you guys gave out a few more. So who are the others?
Well, we instead of runners-up this year, we are looking at people who dominated their sector, who influenced their field. So we chose as Athlete of the Year the U.S. women's soccer team.
Hard to argue against that.
Hard to argue against it. Incredible performance off the field, incredible persistence on the field. We chose Lizzo as entertainer.
Go Lizzo!
I love it.
That's a good pick right there.
That's a great cover, too, by the way.
Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah, defining Performer of the Year, more Grammys and nominations than anybody else, and her message obviously captured the culture.
And what about Business Person of the Year?
Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, incredible year.
Look how we let you say that. See how totally normal this is?
Freedom of the press. Thanks.
Edward, thank you so much. We appreciate this.
Thank you.
Time's Special Person of the Year issue will hit newsstands on Friday.